Gentlemen, we are in. Happy Monday. Welcome to day 7, ladies and gents. We have been doing up YouTube, doing up podcasts for a week already. And I'm excited. If anything, my energy levels towards this stuff grows. So we are golden. And today we're talking about another big topic. We are talking about gratitude. Because today was another day for me where I felt eternally grateful. And I want to preface this because a little bit like my video the other day about meditation, I used to think gratitude and practicing gratitude was for bellends. I thought it was some superficial, nonsensical gibberish that hippies did and people who like yoga. And once again, I was wrong. When I had those thoughts, I was operating from a very low level of consciousness. And that's a whole video in itself, which we can talk about. And I'm not an expert in that stuff, but I've got my views and it's quite an interesting topic if you've never been introduced to it. So I'll do that one day. But I was operating at a very low level of consciousness where my thought process was, you just have to work harder. You just have to do more. The problem is, or you just have to be more motivated. The problem is all of those things, all of those are finite and they rely on your energy. They rely on your time and all those sort of things. And taking that step back and practicing gratitude actually is a superpower. And more so, gratitude gives you unlimited motivation. Because one of the first things people will do, and I think there's a movement away from motivation now. I think we've kind of clocked on. It was a very 90s thing, but it's pretty outdated motivation. Motivation's a bit like adrenaline. You can have a boost of it, but it's never going to last. It will waver, and it will waver like an emotional roller coaster even throughout the day, let alone weeks, months, and years. But if you're grateful, if you practice gratitude, you will have a source of unlimited motivation. So let me talk about that a little bit. So gratitude for me, to really boil it down, let's look at this as like a dummy's guide to gratitude. That sounds like a good title for this video. Doug's Dummy's Guide to Gratitude. It's just appreciating the things that you take for granted. Let me give you a really good example. So I spent 6 months of 2023 in Spain, with an aspiration to get a visa so that I could get a residency so that I could stay here permanently, effectively. That residency came true back end of November. So now I am legally allowed to stay here for 3 years, and then I can extend it as long as I'm a good boy and don't commit crimes or whatever. Then basically I can stay here indefinitely, which is amazing. So now at this present moment, I am just incredibly grateful for that. You can't see it, but just out my window, it's the beach, it's the sea, it's a sunny day. It's amazing, right? And I spent, well, the majority of my life, but the last 13 years living in central London, paying too much money to live in a city that's full of crime, people who are negative, cynical, depressed, and they're trying their hardest. I'm not judging those people because I was one of those people. They are absolutely trying their hardest. I think the people who live in London have the most, how do I say this? Like almost potential. They deal with so much shit. Like you go through the winters in London, they are cold, they are brutal, they are long, they're dark, they are wet. And all of the UK is like that, but London's particularly crap for that because you spend a lot more time outside. People don't drive in London, we get public transport. And because you're still paying a ridiculous amount of money just to exist in this city, but there's no real benefit in the winter. Like, statistically, you're more likely to be mugged or assaulted or raped or killed in London than pretty much anywhere in the UK, but yet you're paying way over the odds to live there. It just doesn't make a lot of sense in the winter. So I think Londoners are insanely resilient people. So I've been there, but one of the things, right now, because I've just moved to Spain, I'm still very grateful for the fact that I live here. And I get messages all the time, I'm jealous, I'm lucky, you're lucky, I'm so envious. And I never think these people, because they're friends, they're family, are saying this to me in like an attacking way. But what I always say back to them is, if you're jealous, that implies that you want something that I have. And if that's the case, what are you doing about it? Because it wasn't luck or fluke or chance that I'm here. It was purposeful practice. And the people, my close friends and family, know this has been a 5-year, maybe longer journey for me. Actually, it's longer. It is longer. It's probably more like 8 years, because Brexit really messed us up. And that's why I'm so grateful for it, because I've worked so hard to get something which is so massive, and I'm still adapting to it. But the point I'm making is, if you're not in that situation, if you're going through the day-to-day grind in the UK, the cold, dark winters, and you're thinking, what the fuck have I got to be grateful for, Doug? The problem with this is that you're stuck in a cycle of monotony, okay? And so when you're stuck in that cycle of monotony, it's very easy to forget the basic stuff that we have that provides us with huge value and benefit. The best way you can think about this, and everyone can relate to this, is when you're sick. When you're sick, the only real thing you care about is getting better. And the chances is that you're sick because of the stress that you've put on your body and your mind from caring about stuff that, in the grand scheme of things, either isn't going to happen because it's thoughts of fear or anxiety, and we've talked about fear already, things that are never actually going to happen. And I am very bad at this. It's something I need to work on, and I'm consciously trying to work on. Or you're worrying about stuff that, even if that thing did happen, no one's going to die. And so when you're sick, all you care about is your health, right? And so when you're well, and it's the middle of winter, and it's cold and it's dark, and you've got to go to your job, which you don't really like, you're like, well, what have I got to be grateful for? Well, you've got your health. You have electricity, you have lighting, you have friends, you have family, you have money, you have a roof over your head, you have an iPhone. Well, hopefully. If you don't, get an iPhone. You got bigger problems if you're watching this on an Android. You have internet. You have the ability to connect with anybody in the world instantly. That is such a privilege. It's insane. Do you know the percentage of people, of human beings who have existed on this planet over the course of time, who have been able to do and experience the things that you can with the level of health, with the access to food? It is fractional of a percentage point. We, all of us, just existing right now, and don't even get me started on the chances of you existing. There's a very good Ricky Gervais piece about that in one of his stand-ups. Just go and watch that rather than me butchering it. But we just have to practice this gratitude stuff. And the reason I think it's so that's what I do when I'm feeling particularly like, Monday's a good example. This is why I'm doing this on a Monday, right? You wake up on a Monday, you don't like your job, it's cold, dark, wet outside, right? And you're like, oh my God, I've got 5 days of my week before I just get some semblance of peace. Now, you have to go through those 5 days. You don't have the choice, right? Unless you want to quit your job, which, fair play. I've been there. But you have to do those things, right? So if you have to do them, you might as well find ways to get through them in an enjoyable way. And the best way to do that is to practice gratitude. Now, I am lucky in the sense that I wake up this morning, I was working at 6:30 in the morning, sitting on my sofa, which is right there, looking out, watching the sunrise. It's mind-boggling to me that I am in this position. I cannot get my head around it. And so gratitude to me is easy. I'm grateful every second of every single day right now. And that gives me the unlimited motivation. If you're stuck in that cycle of monotony, which a lot of people are in January, where you're getting up, you're trying to be healthy, you're being boring because you're not going out the weekends and getting shit-faced, you're saving money because you're poor because it's after Christmas, you're trying to eat clean, you're trying to go to bed early, you're trying to listen to podcasts and read books and do all the things that we're all told that we have to do to be the healthiest and the best person, blah, 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 all of that crap, right? Being grateful is insanely difficult, particularly at the beginning of that journey. But where you've got to really dial it in, and when you first start doing this, you have to do it very purposefully. So literally Close your eyes, sit down still, 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. Sacrifice 5 minutes of TikTok. Don't sacrifice my YouTube videos though. Watch them, they're more important. I'm joking. Sacrifice 5 minutes of TikTok or mindless scrolling on Instagram or Hinge, whatever it might be. Or the news. I mean, that is actually going to be a whole other topic, the news. And just close your eyes for 5 minutes and think about the things that you have that you are lucky and grateful to have. I guarantee you, it will change your perspective on your day and your week that's coming up. And that's the main goal. Because you have to do the thing. And if you do the thing with a smile on your face and a bit of vim and vigor, you're going to do the thing better. And if you do the thing better, people are going to recognize that, especially if you do it consistently. If you do that, then you just build momentum. So gratitude helps you build momentum. It keeps that motivation cog spinning on the days when you feel real crap, because we all have those days. And you just keep going. I think that's everything I wanted to say. We're at 11 minutes, so I'll leave it there. But guys, honestly, if you've never done it, hopefully that was a different perspective on it. And just try it. Try it today, try it tomorrow. Personally, I think it works better in the morning, first thing. But just try it. What have you got to lose? It's 5 minutes. You lose 5 minutes of your life. Give it a go. Much love. I'll see you tomorrow.